This here is what I like to sometimes call the forgotten pedal. The parking brake is very underutilized by most drivers, and in fact should be the first thing that is selected when parking before putting a vehicle into park or gear. Let the brakes hold the vehicle and then have the transmission be the backup. There are a few exceptions. Can be extremely wet, cold, freezing, icy conditions where the brake line might freeze or the brakes might freeze to the parking drum, but that's very much an exception. The parking brake on my 2014 Crew Cab 2500 is noticeably soft and looser than my 2017 regular cab camping truck, so time to give it a little adjustment.
So like many late model modern vehicles, the rear brakes on this Ram 2500 are discs. However, there is a drum brake setup for the parking brake. Drum brakes work better generally for parking brakes. So like many vehicles past and present, there's a little rubber boot. You can see it there in the center of the video, and that just needs to be removed, and then there's a star wheel underneath that can be adjusted to increase the braking. This is the passenger side, and the plug and window is at the bottom of the brake assembly, and it's much easier to show, and it'll be easier to reach and adjust. On the driver's side, it's at the top, and it'll be a little more of a stretch. So this is the driver's side, and you can see that it's up at the top of the brakes, top of the axle, and it's going to be a little harder to reach. I'm looking at it from the rear, and that's probably how I'm going to reach in there and adjust it. They make special tools for this, but most people just use a screwdriver, and that's what I'm going to use. I pried off the rubber boot with a screwdriver, and then there's a star wheel in there. It's a little bit hard to see there. You can see some shinier part, but it looks like there's some grease and grime in there. So I've adjusted the star wheel on the passenger side 4 turns, which probably is not enough, but it's much easier to see the design of the star wheel now. So I was going to skip this step. However, I initially adjusted the star wheels the wrong direction. They don't all adjust the same way, so originally I was loosening them, not tightening them. So once I figured out that the driver's side adjuster needed to go up to tighten and the passenger side needed to go down to tighten, I've done that. And I needed to check the brake drag. And to check the brake drag, of course, the rear tires need to be off the ground, truck is in neutral, parking brake off, and the wheels are chocked. My pedal is nice and firm, but to confirm that there was not excessive drag, I just gave each tire and wheel assembly a good shove on each side, and it seems about right. It takes about a full turn for them to stop. And that noise you can hear when the tire and wheel is rotating is not the brake drag. It's that Centromatic continuous tire and wheel balancer back there behind the wheel. What size screwdriver you might use will vary depending on your vehicle and your access, but for this late model 4th generation Dodge Ram pickup, I use these 2 screwdrivers.